Hey everyone, this is Prince from Desi Programmer. Welcome back to another exciting video in this Node.js MongoDB Express series. And in this video, we are going to talk about how we can upload single or multiple files using Multer.js. So as you can see, the tutorial is almost complete. And what you can do is that you can just click on choose a file. Then you can choose a file to upload. And once you click on upload, this file is uploaded here, as you can see. And we are also going to handle how you can show these files that you uploaded by setting correct static routes. This all we are going to in this one single tutorial. So let's get started. So let's first start with talking about our setup. And as you can see, I have this very basic application up and running. So first of all, let me tell you what you have to install. And you have to install CSRF, EJS, Express, Express Session, and Multer. So EJS obviously for templating Express, which will give us all our Express app. Express Session and CSRF for CSRF protection, and Multer for handling file uploads. Then in my dev dependencies, I have nodemon. You all know what this does. In my index.js file, I don't have anything. I have my simple basic Express app. I have set my EJS as a view engine. Then I have this very simple Express session setup. We have our CSRF protection setup, and then I have two get routes. One is my index route that renders an index page, and the second one is my multiple route which renders a multiple page. So what these both pages do is that when you go to the home route, you get this option to choose a single file. But when you go to slash multiple route, you get this option to choose multiple files. Okay, so let's first see how to handle single uploads, and then we will see how to handle multiple file upload. Now for that, we have to first set up our multer.js, right? So since I've already installed multer, we don't I have to just require it. So I will say const. Okay, so now that I have Multer, all that I have to do is to set up Multer.js. Now remember one thing, most of the time when you will see a Multer.js upload tutorial, they won't be handling CSR protection. But in this video, I am handling CSR protection even in file upload. And the first point that you have to understand while handling CSR protection along with Multer file upload is that your CSRF protection should come after Multer's options. So we have to put everything before this line. Every setup that's related to Multer should come before this particular line. So I will write the code here for my Multer.js, which will handle file upload. So the first thing that I'm going to need is a storage. So I will say const storage, and this will come from Multer dot disk storage. And here we have to pass a couple of options. So first one is our destination. So our destination for this uploads is going to be slash public and slash uploads. So this is the directory where we are going to put uploads. Now remember, if you want to render files from this particular directory, this has to be in a static path. So if you want everything to be in a single directory named static, then you can put this in static directory. I want it to be in a different directory named as public slash uploads, because later you will put some authentication even in this part to render files based on users. That's why I have done it in this way. So everything will be in public slash uploads. And then the next thing that I want to handle here is file name. So every time user picks a file, the file can have any name, and like it couldn't be the best way to store a name that the file is giving by default. It can contain spaces, random characters, or maybe you can have conflict having multiple files with the same name. So which is why this gives a function, and using this function we can create a file name. So first of all, this function obviously doesn't need any name. In our parameters, we take the request, then we take the file, and here we have a callback. Now here we can put our function to, okay, this should be a comma. Now here, once we have our request, once we have our file, and we have our callback, what I have to do is that I have to return something. So I'm saying in my callback, want to return, what do I want to return? So first of all, my error is null. Okay, then I want to return a file name. So the file name will be, right now I'm just simply saying let's say a single string file, and if you want you can put this as username or anything, right? So single string, that's file, then I'm saying plus, and I will take date dot now. And since this is always going to be a different value, this is the best way to make sure that files don't have any conflict with their um names. And then I'm saying path, not path 2D. I have to first require path, so I have to say const path is equal to require path. And now I'm saying this should be path dot ext name, which means extension name. So this is going to be file dot original name. So take our file's original name and then get the extension from it. So now we will have a file name starting with file, then we will have some random integers which will be date dot now, and then we will have the extension which is the correct one, and this will be the file name. So whatever file you pick, this name will be assigned to it. Next we need a upload a middleware. So it's not a middleware right now. I'm going to use it as a function instead of a middleware because that is more better than using as a middleware. So I have a const upload, and what this const upload does is that it takes Multer, and then here it does everything that Multer is supposed to do. So first of all, we need our storage. So our storage will be storage. The next thing that we need is file filter. So this will help us in filtering the file type. So this is also interesting. All that I have to do is to take a function. We don't need any name. We need a couple of parameter request, file, and let's say cv callback. Okay. Now here, first of all, what I have to do is that like basically you can choose from mime type 2, or you can get the extension using path.ext name, and then you can check accordingly. What I'm going to do is that I'm setting a variable named valid extensions. Okay, and this is going to be a list. So let's say that there are a couple of extensions which are valid in my case. So I want png file, okay, I want jpg file, and I'm good with .jpeg file. All right, so these are the valid extensions that I want. Then I need the extension of the file. So I'm saying var ext is equal to path dot ext name. This obviously is going to come from file dot original name. So this will give me the file's original extension. And now I'm saying that if valid extensions, not state, come on, valid, if valid extensions dot includes, so if this includes ext, now remember, if the valid extensions include the ext, that means we are good to go. So what I have to do is that not. So if not, so if this is true, don't do anything, and but if this is false, then the if statement will become true. And here we want to return a callback, and what this callback does is that this callback says, first of all, we have an error, and the error is, okay, so I'm saying please choose .png, .jpg or .jpeg file. So you can say please choose only image file or anything as such. And if this isn't the case, okay, then I have to say read a callback with null and true. So I'm saying callback, which is basically my cb, and first of all, the error is null, and then accept file. So have we accepted the file? Obviously we have accepted the file, so this is true. So a comma, and then we have limits, and what limits does is that it tells us the file size. So I am saying here that the file size will be now see, this property I think is in bytes, okay, and by default it's infinity, but it's always good to make sure that you put some restriction so that people can't just fill your server with random files. So let's say, since I'm going to accept only images, okay, yeah, so this is file size in bytes, which I have simply copied from Google, and this is 10 MB. So this is our single function basically that uses Multer. We are filtering our files, and then we are putting a limit on the file size. Now obviously there are a couple more options that you can use based on your preference, but right now these two are the most basic and the required ones, and this will actually make sure that you get your task done without any issue. And once this is done, you can see that since my server restarted automatically, okay, we have now a folder named as public, and in my public I have a folder named upload. So this creates that particular folder for us as soon as the server restarts. So now having done this everything, all that I have to do is to set up my form. So I will simply go to index.egs first. Now in my index.egs file, you can see that I have this option for username, and the reason why I'm putting this is because I want to show you what happens when you want to get the data from body when you already have a some file data, because this also gives little problem. So this field is not mandatory. I will just check how to retrieve this data. Right now, when we care about this particular field, which has an input type of file, we are good to go. The class is form control file. That's just bootstrap class. Name is file. This is obviously necessary, as I've always been saying that this is the parameter, that this is the attribute that we use in our backend to retrieve this particular field. The id is file. Well, we don't care much about that. Now here you can put accept. So I'm saying image slash star. Let's simply put star. And then the next thing that we need here is, in my form, I have to first put the action. So this will be submitted to upload route. Okay, the method will be post, and we have to set the enc type to multipart slash form data for uploading any kind of images. Now remember, or any files, okay, not just images. Okay, now that we have this, we still have a simple problem, and that problem is to verify our CSRF token. So normally we will put our CSRF token as a hidden field, and that will do the job, but in this case it's not going to work. The reason why it's not going to work is because until unless you call the file, until unless you handle the request.file, you won't get anything from request.body. And because of that, what actually happens is that since you can't access request.body, you can't verify from request.bodies dot underscore CSRF. So for that, we are going to put it as a query string, because that too is an option for us. So I'm saying after upload a question mark, because we have to put a query string. The name will be CSRF, just as we always have, and the value will be CSRF is equal to, we have to just retrieve the value which we are getting. So this value is obviously going to come from CSRF token. So remember, while using CSRF protection with with files, you have to send the CSRF token via query parameter. I mean, this is the simple way. Okay, you can send it through headers and so, but yeah, I don't want to make it so complicated. This always works. This will work. This is also a valid way, and this is the second valid way, because the first one is to send via your an hidden field. The second one is to put it in a query string. So here we are good to go. Now that we have this everything in index.js, I have to first put a post route. So I'm saying app dot post. My route is slash upload, and then obviously I have request and response. Okay, after this, all that I have to do is I have to put it, but right now I'm not going to do that. Okay, first of all, I want to show you that our CSRF verification is successful. I'm saying rest.send CSRF verified. So basically, if CSRF verification is successful, we will get this value. If it's not successful, obviously we will get our simple error that we usually get. Then now that we have done that, let me close this. Okay, okay, why am I even closing this? Just let's make sure that this is as it is. Okay, let's refresh so that we can get the value, and now it is put here in my upload. And when I click on upload, you see we get CSR verified. So it doesn't matter whether PDF file or not. Okay, we just want this value, and since this is here, that means our CSRF is verified. And if you still have any issues, you can try putting it in the hidden field, and you will know that we will get an issue. Now that we have this CSRF verified, let me show you how to handle upload. So for that, I am going to call upload. Okay, then I am going to pass this parameter named single, which means we are going to handle a single file, and here we have to pass the name of the file, which was file itself. Okay, now here most of the time, and okay, not most of the time, sometimes you may see in a tutorial that this itself has a dot single and dot array, but I'm not putting it here because I'm going to use this single function to upload either a single file or multiple files. So now that we have this upload dot single, which means I'm going to upload a single file, and once this is done, we also want to send request, we want to send response, and then if there is any error, we have to handle it accordingly. Okay, so with this, now here, if there is an error, we have to render our error, obviously, else if there is no error, that means our operation is successful. And what I also want to do here is that I'm going to put a log, and in my log I'm going to say request dot body. Okay, and obviously I'm going to use request dot body, so obviously I have to set up my URL, sorry, what do we call it, as a body parser. Okay, so I have to simply say app dot use and express dot url encoded, and here we have extended, which is true, and I need another bracket here. Okay, now I think we are good to go. So after this, here as you can see, I have put request.body. Let me actually put it in a better form. Okay, I'm saying before upload. Okay, and this will go in dollar signs request.body. Then I have the same thing in my else, and I'm saying after upload. Okay, forgive me for my spelling. I know the spelling of before. Just want to type it again. But now that if we have an error, I want to render the error and I want to show that in my front end, obviously. So for that, I'm simply saying res dot render, and we have to render index.egs file with couple of keys. Okay, since we are rendering again, obviously we need CSRF token. So I'm saying CSRF token, which will come from request.csrf token. Okay, then I'm saying we want to render error, and this will come from error. All right, and else if we don't have any issue, I'm saying simply do rest dot redirect to our home route. Okay, great, looks great, looks promising. Let's go here. You can say we have our server started and port. If I refresh, everything looks pretty good. Okay, let's choose a file. Okay, so I have these three files right here. I'll simply select this file. I will click on open, and here I'm putting my username as prince. Okay, pay attention to the console terminal that we have here. This is Windows terminal. I click on upload, and here, okay, we have an issue. It says cannot convert object to primitive value. Okay, my bad, literally my bad. Right, yeah, okay, just my bad. I mean, I just forgot that even if you have a single field, requested body is an object, still it's not like it won't give a single value. So I'm going to print the entire requested body, and you will know with that too. Okay, so now that we have it, let me put my name, and I'll choose an image, this image, and now I'll click on upload. And as you can see here, we have an empty value. Okay, remember, first we got this empty, and then we got my body. So when I printed request.body here, we got this empty object, and when I printed response request.body here, we got our entire value. And this is what I was talking about, and this is why if you want to validate CSRF token at this point, this won't work. So only after uploading the file you can do that. And here, once you have done that, if we go to uploads, you can see that here we have a file, but okay, there is some issue with this file because I think we're not getting the name properly or something as such. So let's see what's the problem right here. The problem is that I don't need this comma, which is why I just got only the file. Okay, so I need this entire is actually a string. Okay, this takes only two parameters. So first of all, let me delete this. Okay, now let's refresh. Enter username, choose a file, click on upload, and tada, we have our file. As you can see, the name starts with file, then we have this timestamp, and then we have the um, value, which is .png. And if you go back to the terminal, you can again see that we first have an empty object, and then we have the object that says our username was prince. So this is all about uploading a single file. Uploading multiple file is also easy and basically same. But before that, let me show you what happens if you want to show any error. So you'll go to index.egs, just as it has always been. Okay, we have to say if. So just as we have always done, if type of error is not equal to undefined, I'm simply rendering my error in H4 instead of using an alert dialog, because we basically know what we're doing, right? So I don't have to do this every time. Now that we have done this, let's refresh. Let's just put any simple name. Let's choose a file, and here I'm choosing this giphy, which I think is a ZIF file. Okay, yeah, it ends with .gif extension. Okay, so if I click on upload, you get this error that says please choose .png, .jpg, or .jpg file. So this is the error that we are rendering here if the extension doesn't match these three. And this is how you can just check for file extension size or anything, and then you can render an error accordingly. Okay, now let's talk about uploading multiple files. If you go to multiple.egs, okay, we already have the same thing that we need. Just make sure that in your input with the type of file, just name is still file. I don't have an issue with that. Here I'm saying multiple. Okay, this means I'm allowed to choose multiple files. And also in the accept, I'm saying I want to choose anything that is an image. Okay, let's save this. In my form, the action is set to upload. Okay, I will set it to multiple. Okay, again then I have to say question mark. Remember CSRF, which stands with which starts with underscore, and this is equal to the value that we are going to get from um at updating exam. So this will be CSRF token. I hope the spellings are correct. Okay, after this we need a method which will be post, and then we have to set the enc type, which will be multipart slash form data. Everything looks pretty promising, right? Here also let me just copy this so that if there is an error we can render that too. So I will simply paste it here. Let's save it. Let's go to index.js file, and here as you can see we have an app slash app.post of upload. I need an app.post for our multiple upload. Okay, so I'm saying app.post, the route was slash multiple, and since we already checked that CSR token verification, we won't do that again. So we take request, we take response, and here I'm saying since we have to handle multiple file upload, I'm saying upload dot array, not single, and here we have to put our file name. So this will be file, this is the name that we have put there, and then you have to put a maximum count. Okay, so at max how many images you want to upload, right? So I just want to upload 5 images at once. So people can upload 1 2 3 or 4 images, but as soon as they exceed the maximum count value you will start getting error, right? Then we have request, we have response, and we have error. Now remember here there are different ways of showing this max count, failed errors and all. I will talk about that probably in my blog. I will simply post the code that you can understand right there. I will show a small demo here too, don't worry about that. So if there is an error, we obviously want to render the error. I will simply copy this, I will paste it here, and this won't be index, this will be multiple. We have CSRF token, we have error, we are good to go. Else if there is no error, we don't have to do anything. Rest dot redirect slash, put it here, save it. Okay, everything looks pretty good. So let me just delete this particular file. Now when I go to app localhost slash multiple, I can choose my name as Prince. Here I'm saying, here you see we get choose files instead of choose file. If I click on this, now I can select multiple files. So I have selected 3 images. I click on open, and now I'll click on upload. And as you can see in my uploads, okay, we don't have anything. Let's see what is the issue right here. Okay, we get please choose .png, .jp. Oh sure, I was trying to upload a GIF too, right? Let me just choose these 2 images, click on open, click on upload, and yep, now we have 2 files. So this was one image and this is the another image. So if you try to upload anything as that, you will get an error. Not just that, if I put the max count to 1, okay, and now I'll simply put any name and I will choose these 2 files. I click on open and I click on upload. So we get okay, am I getting invalid CSRF token? I should have gone to multiple first. Multiple, any name, I'm choosing these 2 files, click on open, click on upload. Now you see we get this Multer error unexpected field. So this is the error that Multer will give in case of any such errors. But if you actually go back to console, you can see that after this, we restart. Okay, so as you can see, I have just logged this error. Okay, and by default this error gives a single value, okay, which is unexpected field. But if you actually look here, you have a code which is limit unexpected file. So what simply means is that we had a certain limit, but that limit has exceeded. So these are there are different codes that you get based on certain things, so that you can check and that you can render error. Otherwise, in simple cases, you will simply get this error string that says multer error unexpected field. But we can handle that. Now that we have these multiple files, let us see how we can show those files in our home page. I'm saying remove this everything. Let's go to our home page, and in my home page in my index.ejs, here after this form and this division, okay, let's put an h3. Let's say our uploaded images. And then I have a division with a container, right? Now when it comes to showing uploaded images, again I think I made a spelling mistake. Let it be. So when it comes to displaying uploaded images, there are different ways. Okay, first of all, some people say that we will put our image as a base 64 encoded string in our database itself. Then we will take it from there and we will show it. Well, you're free to do that too. Or you can put your images in any kind of storage system. So right now we're putting our image in a storage system as a file. Okay, if you're using cloud or even cPanel, you can do this. You just need write a permission. By the way, if you're using free Heroku Dino and even DigitalOcean Dino, I think you can't upload files because they don't give you write permission. But if you're buying anything, you will obviously have write permission and you can upload your file and put it as an image, as a file, I mean. Or you can put it on S3 bucket or any cloud storage. That's completely up to you. And if you want to put it in your database, then it completely, that's my mom calling. Or if you want to put it on any kind of database, then you have to make sure that you first encode it in a kind of, in either base 64. If you're trying to put it on mongodb database, you have to put it as a buffer. And if you're putting it in mysql, you can obviously put it as base 64 a string. Or if you're using any database like dynamodb, cassandra and all that, it completely depends on that. Right now let's see how we can show this image. So since I have put it as a file, all that I want in my database is the file name or the path, right? So here, let's say in when I'm rendering this page, I am going to my database and I'm telling my database that, hey, give me all the file paths. So some random db query. Okay, I'm not going to do that, but I'm saying, let's say that we made some random db query. Now after that query we got some data. Okay, and that what that data is doing is that it's giving me a list of all the paths where I have uploaded the file. So we have a var of data, and for each data we have a file url, and it says that, okay, hey, the file's url is in public directory. There's a directory named public. In that directory you have another directory named uploads, and there you have a file. So let me just copy this two name. Okay, a single file. I think that's completely okay. And after this I am saying that I want to render this particular data. So data as data. Now if I go to index.ejs, you can see that I have a division with a class of container. So obviously I have to say here that if the type of data is not equal to undefined, what I have to do is that I have to first use templating tags, and then I'm saying data dot for each. So for each value in my data, come on, data dot for each. Here I have a function. So let's say we have d and we have index, and in this function what I'm going and this function we will get this d dot file url, and this will give you the file url. So again, let's first enclose them in our templating tags, and then here I'm saying that I have an img tag, and the src is actually going to come from d dot file url. If you see here, this is the value that we have. It's the key that we have, not the value. Let's save it. Okay, so now that I have set this as an src, let's refresh, and you get our uploaded images, but you won't get that image. Okay, if you go to inspect and if we go to network, let's refresh, you can see that I'm trying to make a request to localhost 8000 slash public slash uploads and this file, but I can't get it. Well, obviously those who have actually been paying attention to all the videos, they know that we have to still set our static routes to render these static files. So I'm saying app dot use express dot, come on, dot static, and my static route is going to be double underscore dir name plus, then I have to go to class public slash uploads. Okay, let's save it, let's refresh, and we still won't see any image. Okay, if again go to inspect, and if you see here in my network, if I refresh, I still can't get this value. But also something interesting, if I copy this, okay, and if I put it like this, okay, I still can't get it. Yeah, I can't show anything interesting. Maybe with a .gpg extension, yeah, I can show you something interesting. So if I make a request to our home route with that file name, we get it. So the reason why it's happening is that I'm saying app.use this particular, I mean anything from this directory could be shown, okay, but at a home route. And at the same time here I'm saying that start from public and upload. So basically all these files are getting rendered from home route, but in my, sorry, not there, but while rendering I have put this entire file. So this is where you have to make sure that if you're putting this entire path, then your static 2 should be rendered from this entire path. Or if you're simply putting the file name, then you can do it like this. Since I'm putting the entire path, I have to say that this static directory should be rendered from slash public slash uploads, not uploads, uploads. Refresh, and now we won't get that. So let's erase this. Let's go back to our home route, and now we can get this image. Okay, so now this image is being rendered, and yeah, we are good to go. We have basically covered in this tutorial how to upload a file or upload multiple files using express.js and multer.js. We have also seen how you can validate extension, how you can put a file limit, and how you can put a limit on how many files you want to upload.